everybody. I'm Sasha Mercedes, aka Licensed Therapist Sasha Johnson, and I have a book coming out, my second edition of It's a Losing Battle, But I Won, on December the 25th. Check me out at www.sashamercedes.org.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Second Chance with Johneri'O Sky. Now listen, today, this show, our guest, y'all, Miss Sasha, not Sasha Fierce, Sasha Mercedes, y'all. Listen, she is a licensed counselor, author, have her own nonprofit, and just in these Atlanta streets, and just really all over sharing light and changing lives.
Trying.
She doing. She doing. What's up, Sasha?
Hello.
Listen, yo, I was like, Sasha gotta come on. She have to come on. You know about second chances.
Yes, absolutely.
So what do you know about second chances?
So I had my own experience with second chances, having to give myself a second chance. And I think the biggest thing is a lot of times we try to give everything to somebody else. We don't know how to turn that inward. So I literally lost everything I had before in an abusive marriage while I was pregnant and a baby on the hip. So my kids are 11 months apart. And I left everything, literally everything, the house, everything except my car. When my feet was swollen, so I couldn't drive the car home. And yeah, we left Atlanta in 2007, went back to Alabama, and I literally was going to like shelters for battered women and counseling, and was pregnant with a new baby and one on the hip because he was on drugs and he liked to hit women. So, yep, I started over, and at first I beat myself up for a long time and didn't. I felt like, I'm a G, so I was fighting you back, so I deserved that. I'm fighting you back, so I deserved that. So it took a while for me to realize, no, you was a victim, you're not a victim anymore. Right. So now you use your pain for someone else, because your pain is not for you, it's for others.
It's for others. Yeah, it already started off bad. Look at it, already started off. But you said so much. But it's just going back to you saying that you had to give yourself a second chance. That's hard. That's harder than giving somebody else a second chance.
Absolutely.
Because you, that person, you feel like, oh, you're supposed to know your strengths. You're supposed to know your weaknesses. But just like we are learning, everybody every day, we learn. Every day we're learning ourselves. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I feel like it's important. I think, and one of my books talked about that, us giving gratitude, love, and freedom to ourselves, because we were not taught that. We were taught when we were growing up, to say thank you or ta-ta and things like, and we were never taught to go inward and say, I love you, I love me, type scenario. And so for me, I'm like, no, I'm in the game of teaching both, know.
So, looking back then, who was that Sasha? And now, the Sasha that we see now, who is that Sasha?
That Sasha was bitter, she was a bitch.
Listen, call it out.
I'm serious. I'm just being honest. I was, because I was so angry. And sometimes a lot of us, we love to talk about everybody else, but you got to own your own bullshit, And so that I was fighting. I started getting into relationships after that poor marriage, and I became I guess you could say the person that started making them the victim. You ain't gonna hit me first. I'm
gonna get you before you get me.
Exactly. So I turned into this. I felt like a monster at one point, but I don't think other people noticed that I had this fire inside of me, that I had to work on.
How was that process?
Crazy. It was crazy. I mean, first thing is it's really hard to not be in denial about it. You're just like, I'm being me. That's who I am. You're gonna accept it. Nobody gotta accept that. Nobody has to accept that, and then just, understanding the energies you allow around you. I noticed the type of people that I rode with then. There was people that accepted my crap. So guess what? I'm not getting nowhere because I'm dealing with people that's not trying to go nowhere.
So, leaving the marriage, newborn, with another newborn on the side, going through the shelters, finding your way. that just paint the picture for us for that time. What would be that description?
So for me, whenever I left and went back to Montgomery, I actually, when I was going to the shelter, I was going for the other resources. So I like to clear that up. A lot of people hear the shelter and they're like, oh, you was going there to stay there. I didn't stay there.
Okay.
I went there for the counseling, for them to help me get clothes. I had left all my clothes in Atlanta.
You was done.
Literally had all my, because I had to be done. This man was going to jail, had done tore the house up bad. Holes out the front door, doors out the hinges. And I think some of it was like I feel like I blacked out at some point. Or fainted or something. I mean, I don't know what happened. All I know is I was swollen. I don't know how my dad even knew to come from Alabama to Georgia to get me. He came and got me. My mama lived in Georgia, but my dad came to Georgia and got me. I don't know who called him. And so I ended up remembering one of my friends. She was a stripper at the time. She ain't no stripper no more. She a wife now. But she a wife now. Y'all said they can't turn no hoes to no wife, but it's a lie, okay?
Shout out to the friend.
Shout out to my friend. She know who she is because I found her. This new me found her like, thank you. Thank you. Because something told her that day. I didn't call her. Something told her to pull up on me that day. So I believe she's the one that just called whoever she could on my phone.
Right.
But again, I don't know any of this concrete because I think I blacked out at some point. I do remember him saying he was going to kill me when he got out of jail. He was threatening to kill me. I remember my daddy coming, but I was so swollen he even had to kind of carry me to the car because my feet were swollen. I was probably about 6 months pregnant or something.
Listen, them babies be doing y'all bad.
Yeah, but I had never really swelling before. It was because I had that stressful moment. Yep. Yep.
Stress is important.
Yep.
We have to really. It's dangerous. That's a silent killer.
Yep.
Because people, just going back to therapy and how I go to I wasn't therapy. I'm getting back into it, but
ain't nothing wrong with that.
yeah, but just how I remember a therapist saying, just because your mind is clear, it's still on your conscience and it's still going. Even when you're sleeping, it's still going. That's tough.
You make me smile when you said that. Somebody told me recently because I was telling them about something that I had experienced that I almost just tell you, but I ain't ready to talk about yet. And she was like, "You're gonna have to come. The older you get, it's gonna keep coming at you." And I was like, I'm not ready to put that person out there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna do it. I don't see myself ever doing it. But the thing is, the older I'm getting, I didn't have to get myself. I'm a therapist in therapy.
And I was gonna ask. I was gonna ask.
In therapy, because I have to talk to someone about it, get it off my chest. But yeah, I would never. It's a selfless thing for me. I can't pull that person back to that moment. Yeah.
So now going through that, overcoming it, what are tools that you do daily to make sure that Sasha is feeding into herself, for one, because you have to, being a counselor, it's people. You listen to stories after stories, so it's like you have to make sure, all right, Sasha girl, like, all right, my routine. So what is that self-care routine for you?
Well, I try to eat light. If I do eat heavy, I'm not doing it for about
Low
once
vibrations.
a week. You're like, look, I ain't doing that, Stormy. I'm sorry, Stormy. I ain't gonna have a low vibration plate, but on Thanksgiving I will, okay?
All right.
My friend, he posted that today. He said, I'm ready for this low vibrational plate for Thanksgiving.
It's gonna be big low baby.
You ain't lying, a couple of them, okay? All right, so I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
A lot of us go through the very same things, but we think our situation worse than it is. So I do that. When it's not cold as hell, I try to take a walk. I like walking. I love hiking and stuff like that. So a lot of people say, "Are you black?" Yeah, I'm black. I like to hike. I like to go in the woods. I've been able to do it by myself. I'm proud of myself for doing it by myself because you don't need nobody else's energy around you. So I do that. I love spending time with my sons. It's just me and them. Spend time with them. What else do I do? I work out, but not as much as I used to. I used to work out every day. That's why I done got a little bit more healthier than the last time you seen me.
A little thick.
But getting a little thick. But I'm trying to reel that back in now because it's really important for me to calm down. So I'm on that because I used to work out every day at one point, and now I'm like maybe 3 days if I feel like it.
And it's cold.
It is cold. But I ain't got no excuse. I can do it in the house.
Oh yeah, you're right. So what actually prompted you to want to help others?
You know what? Shout out to my mom. But my mom, when I guess I was about 15, 16-ish, she started having some challenges. I didn't know what was going on. None of us really knew what was going on. But I never forget my mom was working a job, and she started having these thoughts of harming other people. And so my mom was diagnosed with major depression, bipolar disorder, and OCD. Now, here I am, a kid, also dealing with parents that divorced when I was younger. So it's like I go to daddy's house, and I feel like daddy is talking about my mom, and then I go to my mama's house. I feel like she's talking about my dad, and I'm like trying to stand up for each one of them. But they don't realize, they think, oh, you trying to battle, you trying to take sides.
Right.
No, I don't want to hear you talk about her, and I don't want to hear you talk about him. And at the end of the day, you know, I learned that from my mom, she had gone through things too, as far as in her past that I felt like was causing what she was going through. And just so happened, my marriage was triggering her. Once we started in high school with this, but when I turned like 18, it really got bad. Like to the point where she told me she thought about running my ex-husband over with a car, like, because it reminded her of things she had experienced before. You know, and so it was just crazy, you know, it's really crazy.
So it seemed like you have been dealing with the obstacle of trauma since childhood. And you just maneuvered through it, and you got this, Sasha. You're a parent now. You're a wife now. Like,
I ain't no wife.
No, not now.
Don't be telling these folks, I'm looking for me a husband, okay? All right, if you out there, come on now. All right, now
listen, Sasha's ready. But, you know, back then, you know, you had to, you know, carry all that while still putting on other titles, other hats. So what would you say is, how should someone deal with trauma?
You all know the crazy thing is, you got to first accept that it was trauma. Because to be honest with you, I felt like, you know, this is normal. The stuff that I went through ain't none, you know, it's still to this day, it's certain things that I feel like it's trauma as a therapist that I can't go to my mom and my dad and say, oh, you traumatized me by doing that, because they're not going to get it. But I get it because of the position that I'm in now, so I had to accept that and deal with that with me. I can't go to, you know, necessarily my family and them understand my perspective, you know, so at the end of the day, I had to accept it for what it was.
Right.
Because, you know, it becomes normal for it to be these type of interesting conversations and situations. It's normal.
Especially if it's a consistent thing and you don't see no red. You just all you see all your whole life was blue.
Exactly.
So it's like, dang. Do you have a lot of patients that come to you with traumatizing childhoods that they're still to this day, 30, 40, 50 years later, still trying to break that barrier?
You know, one thing I realized recently, and it hit me, and I've been scared to say it, I'm going to say this out loud the first time today. I feel like every person has experienced some type of trauma as a kid. It doesn't necessarily have to be physical abuse or physical trauma, but maybe it was that parent that was too scared to be vulnerable to tell you what they went through so you could understand life. Or so that can make you end up growing up, and when you are faced with life is traumatic for you because you were hidden from it, or you got the parents that give you too much attention, too much of that stuff, putting you in front of porn and all this stuff.
Everything,
you know what I mean?
I'm gonna just put you to it because you're gonna learn about it
anyway. You know, or you got the ones that's physical or emotional or verbally abusive, and a lot of people don't realize. Parents, we have these controlling behaviors, and if you go and look at abuse, control is under abuse. When you're controlling people and their money and stuff like that, when your kids get to 18 and they're trying to become an adult and you're trying to control them and you're not giving them enough autonomy, are you being traumatic? Are you abusing them because you're trying to control them? And it's not, they don't mean to. They don't mean to. It's not that they're trying to hurt them, but you gotta let people taste the water a little bit. You know what I'm saying? You be there and be there for them when they fall, but let them taste the water a little bit. So I feel like everybody go through something. It may not be to the extent of song, but everybody go through something. They do.
What advice would you give someone that has realized their trauma and now trying to break those barriers down?
The first thing I would say, have a conversation with yourself. You know, everybody want to go to a therapist first. I'm a therapist, and I'm saying don't go to the therapist first. If you hadn't had the conversation with yourself yet to accept what you need to accept about the whole situation, you're going to come to a therapist. You're going to feel like what they telling you, you're going to be rebellious again, so you may have pushback about it. And then you're going to be telling everybody else that the therapist wasn't good enough because, you know, they were being too hard on you or they was trying to tell you what you needed to hear, but you weren't ready for it. So you need to have a conversation with yourself until you're ready. Then you go spend your money. But don't waste your damn money until you're ready.
Y'all hear that?
Seriously.
Listen. What would you say, going into your, going through that and now having with teens, yourself, and I'm sure they asking questions and wanting to know, like, how are you doing your parenting? So,
I'm not a perfect parent. I'm going to say that. So, one thing I try to do is I try to learn from my parents, the good and the bad, And I feel like a lot of people try to say, oh, I'm not going to be like my mom, I'm not going to be like my dad. But there's not all bad parts of no parent, There's something good in them that you can pull out if you look good enough. Even the ones that's in the street doing whatever they're doing, it's something about them. They may be sociable. They may be sociable, and that's why they're in the streets. But you got to pick that one good thing, and you utilize that good part. And the things that you don't necessarily want to take in and you want to shut down because it's those generational curses that you need to shut down, then you find ways to shut them down. So with my sons, I definitely don't take them around. I'm not that parent that just because you blood, you're going to be around my kids. I don't care who you are. You're not going to be around my kids, period. You can choose your family. That's what I say. Your blood family you can't choose, but you can choose your real family, and the people that's around you that you need to have around you. So I don't have everybody around my kids. I do expose them to stuff a little bit because, all that mama, they're like, listen, I don't want you in the streets trying stuff, and then something happens. So I expose them a little bit, but not too much, And I try to support every craft they want to do, even though they be wearing my ass out. I support everything they do because sometimes I did feel like when I was younger, whether my parents realized it or not, and even the older I got, if I wanted to try something, that wasn't always, I feel like that support. They say they support, but it don't say something make you feel like, damn, I want to do this. So I just try to support them. And then the biggest thing I got to say that I do as a parent that I ain't seen a lot of parents do is when I fuck up, I say I'm sorry. I say, son, you know what, my bad. I was wrong.
And that's all it takes.
Yeah.
That's all it takes.
Yeah.
Y'all, we have Sasha Mercedes, who is, she's uniquely in her own way. That is really, you're in the trenches.
Am I?
You're in the trenches because the way that you target your clients and the way that you assist is not traditional.
No, not at all.
So why didn't you go that traditional route with your clients?
It's a traditional route working for us.
No.
Okay. I feel like, are we all the same?
No.
So when I sit down with a person, I need to feel you out. I need to meet you where you are. And they teach us that really in school, meet you where you are. But a lot of therapists go to this, oh, I'm going to go by the book. Oh, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. Baby, you can come to my session. We can do music therapy. You can come to my session. If you was having your glass of wine, you come as you are. Because I don't want you to feel like you got to run from a situation with me. And we're virtual, so it's not like they're coming in the session to my space, smoking or drinking or whatever. But if they're struggling with something and they need to talk to me in that very moment, come as you are. And that's the thing with me.
I like
and,
that.
you know, honestly, with different cultures, we don't do well with just sitting down with somebody looking all up in your face, asking questions. We like to do music. We like to dance. We like to do, I do a lot of different creative activities. And that's just me.
Right.
I can't.
I like your methods. Like, you know, looking at you on social media and how you just keeping it real.
I try.
And that's what we want. If I'm gonna go sit down with somebody, like, I don't want you, you know, Johneri'O, you know, no, like, to have you a glass of wine too. Like, let's really dig into this and really. I always tell people, you attract people if you get their emotions. You got them.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got them.
Absolutely, and I think that's why I got a waiting list now, because people come, but at the end of the day, I think that some therapists don't get, just relax. Relax, because you gotta be a little bit, to me, you gotta share a little bit of self.
You have to.
So they feel comfortable, so people feel comfortable. I don't call my clients or patients, I call them client friends. Because at the end of the day, I'm not above you. We on the same level. I go to therapy too. So.
Sasha, thank you for being you. Thank you for being you. So y'all, we have to get into this non-profit. Again, it's about second chances, but Sisters Second Chance. Talk about it.
Okay, so I started this baby when I was broke as heck. Okay, real broke. Like,
real
look,
bad.
I'm still trying to get where I want to be, but I was like, I got to do something for people like these. And it started off was I wanted to help women that had children, that were single parents, that needed help with free counseling. So I started a little group on Facebook, and it's got a few people in it, probably about 500 people in there that I motivate and try to send videos and stuff to right now. And it's been like that since it started off as a group in 2014, just on Facebook, right? So ended up doing that. I would do once a year at that point, just a turkey giveaway. We would give away a turkey, and we would give away like some cornmeal, just a side stuff to have for 4 people. If they wanted to sit down, 4 to 6 people, they would have everything they needed to make the Thanksgiving dinner. Now we're not cooking it for you, but we're gonna get it to you.
We're gonna get it to you.
Got the rest of it, okay? All right. So we started off, and it was really I think we might have gave us like 25 people at first. That's it, right? 2014. Ever since then, every year we've been giving out turkeys. As a matter of fact, last year I think we did 2 drives, and one time we gave out 100 turkeys, and the other time we gave out 50. This year we're giving out 50. Actually, next Wednesday. And the reason why we're giving 50 this time is because we're going to a shelter, and we're going to be feeding the homeless and giving out turkeys and giving out hygiene kits at the same time. So it's like, wait a minute, okay, let's balance this out, and make this flow well. So. It was all about that, but you're not going to believe what I ended up doing, because I realized it wasn't just about women. So recently, in January of this year, we started a Brothers Deserve a Chance under Sisters Second Chance. And so we started with doing like series for like I think we did for like maybe like almost 2 months, like every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks or so, we would have a male talk about mental health to the men. And I would put it on my different platforms, and we made a group for the men. And so we offer free counseling to the men, because we realized that women will come talk. That's the problem. We need to shut up sometimes. But the men, they be like, I can't go talk to my boy about that. No. And so we did our very first brunch in October for the men, and I'm going to tell you, it was phenomenal. We had male speakers. We had men come and have a good time and eat, and the women were instructed not to speak. We served the men. You don't get up to come get your food. You don't do nothing. You just sit there and y'all listen to the speakers. We had a singer come, a male singer come, and it was just really amazing. And it was small and very intimate. We had maybe like 20 to 25 men there, and it was cool. It was really cool. We gave them like shrimp and grits and everything. Good food. Listen. And so I realized that because, with Sister Second Chance, we did a mentoring program for children in 2019 for the summer. And we took the kids like to ASU, Alabama State University. We took them to the memorial. It's a EJI memorial where they talk about the slavery and all that stuff.
Yeah, I heard about that. I heard about that.
It's gonna have you in tears.
And I was about to say.
But we took the kids. The kids didn't have to pay for anything. The whole time we gave them snacks. we interacted with them once a week for, I think it was like 8-week curriculum that we did. But then COVID hit the next year, so we ain't did it since 2019. So this year we had to serve the men. So Sister Second Chance is always going. It's the top of it. But we got a child's purpose and a brother's deserve a chance as well.
Yo, the impact, Sasha, impact. Listen, so you're breaking the stigmas. So when it comes to breaking the stigma within the African American community, when it comes to counseling and therapists, what have you found to be, positive ways to, target that, and what have you found that, that's not working?
Well, I'm gonna tell you what it is that I realize. You gotta be versatile. And a lot of people wonder why, Sasha, you act, you do this, you do that. Because I need to be in every arena to serve this mental health thing, so that maybe you don't want to come and sit on the couch with me, but maybe you'll see me on my radio show, cutting up. Or maybe you don't want that, maybe that's too harsh for you. Maybe you rather see me on my talk show, because she's gonna be acting. That's Sasha Johnson, not Sasha Mercedes. Then I'm having a therapist hat on me, Or maybe you need to go see me being silly on the skits that I've done. Or maybe you need to go and just come and just have a good time and just have a lunch with me. I'm very down to earth. I don't act funny with folks and stuff like that. So I just feel like you got to have different things in different lanes, and I stop listening to people tell me you do too much, you're doing too much. It's funny, people always say that, but they don't understand what I'm doing, and that's why I keep saying it. Listen, the people that need to hear me, so that the people I'm trying to reach and help, they're not gonna meet me all in the same space. Some may come to a speaking event. Some may come to a conference. I don't know where they're coming from, but I need to make sure I'm available to them, because that's what God put me here for.
Right. Listen, and some even may just read the book and get a little bit of Sasha. So let's get into this book. It's a losing battle, but I won. That "but I won," that's just the icing on the cake. But I won. Talk about your winning season, and talk about what inspired this book.
Well, my winning season, I feel like it comes over and over again. So I say that because I feel like if you're growing, or if you're trying to be this person, if you're trying to be a better person, you should always win every now and then. You should always feel like, okay, I'm just here. You should always feel like you're winning at some point, and you need to give yourself credit for that. You know what I mean? So I'm still winning. I'm winning right now.
Listen.
You know what I'm saying? So, my winning season is all the time. I ain't got no damn season all year, okay?
All year. 365.
Yeah, all year. Because when you get in them low spots, you better pull yourself out and say, I'm winning, I'm doing this thing.
And that goes back to, like you said earlier, knowing yourself.
Yes.
Dig into.
Yes. So when I wrote this book, I'm going to be honest, it was really in the heart of COVID. I didn't know where I was going or coming. I had really just got back in Atlanta, because again, I left Atlanta in 2007. Got back here 2019. This book was released in 2020. And I just, I didn't know what was happening. I had my own business. I was a professor at Capella University at the time. And that was all I was doing, but I wasn't making enough money. I didn't know if I was going to stay in Atlanta. But COVID being shut down, nobody could put me out. And so I was like, okay.
Thank you, Lord.
Let me just sit up in this house and figure out what I'm going to do with my time. You know what I'm saying? So I decided I wanted to write this book. I had written other books, but I never wrote a book about me per se, because I didn't think nobody wanted to hear my story. I was like, people get tired of hearing my bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Nobody want to hear my story. And somebody told me, everybody's story is their story, and you should tell it. You know what I'm saying? So I started writing. But what I learned about the book itself is, as I'm writing, I'm winning, because I'm almost in tears to write the stories. I'm in tears trying to write. It was therapeutic for me. You know what I'm saying? So I talked about me having a suicidal thought at one point while I was pregnant, and wanting to ride off the road and hit a tree, and said, maybe that'll be easier. You know what I'm saying? I'm driving like, maybe I should just run into this tree right now. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe it was when my ex-husband used to fight me while I was pregnant that I needed to talk about winning from. Or maybe when I was in my room one day thinking, maybe it'd be easy for me not to be here anymore. You know what I'm saying? And I decided to tell the stories in this book because people look at me, and I just put a post up the other day. I said, stop saying I'm a superwoman. If you got that in your mind, you think I don't need you to check on me. I be tired too, so when you see that tired group, throw my ass in it. Throw me in it.
For real.
I had a friend tell me on Friday, well, I see you on social media, and I be like, oh, Sasha, good. I said, that's where you wrong. Check on me. Check on me. Check on me. And so this book, I thought it was going to get, some people forget, you know what I'm saying? But I'm like, maybe they'll see the battles that I do have. Battles don't end, baby.
No.
Life battles, as long as you're alive, you're going to battle every damn day. Every day.
Especially every level you go.
Yeah, so ask your people how they doing. So this book was for me trying to to be humble as a therapist. I feel like as therapists, people be like, oh, she a therapist. So they got to have these, stick up their butts and stuff. Listen, I want to tell you how crazy I am, what I did, what happened to me, how I responded to it, how I won from the situation. And I literally talk about, literally, this is what I did in this scenario. This is what happened in that scenario. And then I try to affirm them too.
Right. And you also, I see that you also have like a back where they can put notes and I think that's good because your book is a therapy session.
It is. It even has resources in it. It even has people that know me in the back that gave testimonials about me in the back of the book. Yeah. So if you don't believe what you read, then you got my friends and people that know me that told you what they think about me.
So now that you've written this book, what did Sasha learn about herself?
Not to give up.
Not to give up.
And I be wanting to. It's so much easier. I swear. It's harder to keep going. So I ain't gonna lie. I mean, it's just not to give up. That's all I can say about the book. You know what I'm saying? It's just not to give up. When I look at it, I got a second edition coming out on Christmas Day.
Okay. Okay.
And I'm gonna add just what has gone on since then to now. Because I still, it's still battle.
Right, every day.
Yeah.
Like you said, as long as you alive.
Just a different type of battle. Just still battling.
Wow. Listen. Let's get into this other book. Because this one, the title of this one is really Our Bodies First. Our Bodies Thirst for Gratitude, Love, and Freedom. And you also have the journal too.
Yeah, it's a journal to it too. Let me ask you a question. When you were raised, did your parents teach you to say thank you to yourself? Okay.
But to everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the book is for us to learn about giving ourselves gratitude. Because I was like, damn, I'm hitting on something with this. Ain't nobody taught me to say thank you. Or I love me. Nobody taught me to do that. And in order for us to be free in our life, we got to be able to say thank you and to love on ourselves. You can love on everybody. Maya Angelou said, she doesn't trust them. I love you, but don't love themselves. She's like, man, listen. How you telling everybody else I love you? Where'd it come from if you ain't got no love in you? You lying.
You lying.
You lying.
You lying. Hypocrite and everything.
Yeah. If you ain't got no love in you for yourself, you got to start in you. So I'm going to put some love on somebody else. And in that book, I talk about, I just realized my dad and my mama didn't tell me to say, and I don't think they were taught that. I think this is a generational thing where we're taught to do all this stuff for everybody else. And there ain't nothing wrong with loving on people. That ain't what I'm saying. But you got to love on you too. So I talk about the importance of that, the importance of taking the time, and I don't care if it's once a week, I don't care if it's every day, but taking the time and say, damn, I did the damn thing. I'm proud of me.
Listen.
Ooh, I love you. Listen, and if you crazy like me, when I take the therapist hat off, I'll be in the mirror talking about, bitch, I love you, girl, shit. I mean, for real. You gotta get to your own language, like you gotta get it together, because sometimes you be tripping.
Yo, people say all the time, Especially, let me say something wrong, like Johneri'O, now you know better.
Exactly.
Johneri'O, you know. All the time, Tim be like, huh, you say something? Just talking to myself. Just talking to myself.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to.
But
I like how you said, you have to give yourself gratitude. You have to give yourself grace.
Yes.
And I was talking to Khadijah, and I was saying, like, once we start giving ourselves grace, start beating up on ourselves, loving yourself, then you will find the true love. And then, just how they say, when you get out of a relationship, don't jump back into another one. You gotta
listen.
You gotta get you together.
Listen, honey, listen.
You gotta get you together.
You speaking to the choir. I'm listening to you, and I'm thinking about just some of the people that sit across from me, and they would literally hop from relationship to relationship. And I'll ask them, well, how do you feel about yourself now? And they like, I don't know. Then why you hopping from relationship to relationship? Because you should know how much you love yourself before you hop into the next one. So if you don't know, then stop getting in damn relationships, because self-relationship is a relationship too. You should be able to be intimate with yourself. You should know every part of your body and what you want done to it and how you want it done. Whether it's emotionally, physically, and yes, I'm saying a lot of people don't get that. And nobody should be touching parts of your body that you ain't comfortable touching on yourself. Seriously.
For real, because that's deep.
Yeah.
That's deep. And then right there, by you not knowing yourself and not embracing that side, but somebody else is trying to open up a door that you haven't even opened yet.
Exactly. So how you gonna tell them, no, I don't like you to talk to me that way, or this is my love language, or I don't want you to, when you hitting it, I don't want you to hit it on the left, I want you to hit it on the right. How you gonna tell them something you don't know?
And you don't even know. Don't be doing trial and error with me.
Exactly.
Shoot.
Exactly. Exactly.
Hey.
Yeah.
You powerful. Your story, your testimony, how you. It's one thing when someone goes through and they come out good, but when someone goes through, continue to go through, but while they're in that path, they're helping the next person, teaching the next person, and being unapologetically themselves.
I know what's crazy. I'm gonna tell you some truth. Mm-hmm. I appreciate everything you said, but you know how much I just be like, I don't want to do it no more. And I just force myself to do it because I feel like this is what God put me here for. Mm. Because sometimes when you doing for people, and I definitely give them, I love them myself, but sometimes you feel unappreciated. So I appreciate people like you when you sit down and you talk to me, because it reminds me that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Well, Sasha, girl, we love you, girl. Keep going.
I love you too.
Listen, what is next for Sasha?
So I started filming a documentary. This is going to be shedding light on gun violence here in Atlanta. It's called Unfortunate Losses. My first guest that I started a documentary on is Diamond P. She's one of the nieces of Big Meech from BML. Okay. And she lost her son to gun violence a couple years ago down in Newton, Georgia. So that's one thing that's released. And I constantly release my talk show, which is the Raw Therapist Talk Show. It's on Roku TV and
Raw Therapist, trust. Listen, is that Sasha Johnson or Sasha Mercedes?
The Raw Therapist is probably a little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
Yeah,
right?
A little bit of both. And then the radio is Sasha Mercedes. So it's climax session. A lot of people are like, oh, he's talking about sex. We talk about that too. But we talk about people's climax in their lives, So you climax in your business. You climax in your just life, period, your spirit, just everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So when people see it, I like to have those sex names though, because it make you calm.
It make them play, for real.
You heard me? The sex name make you calm.
Come. Tap in. Tap in.
So make you tap in. So, we got that. Lord, I feel like the book that come out on December the 25th. And then, of course, continuing to do events for my nonprofit.
Yes.
Then the conference that I do now called the Renowned Honorary Conference. Where we're doing a tour, going to a few different cities in the United States, honoring 20 community leaders that's doing things like what I do, but I want to highlight them. So, but I don't want the celebrities because they already highlighted. I want the people that's out in the dirt that don't nobody know nothing about. I love you celebrities, but I want to know the ones that doing it and then nobody recognize it.
Like I said in the beginning, Sasha is that therapist who you know how some therapists you feel like you can't reach and touch them,
Oh yeah,
and you bridging those gaps.
Look, I want people to just relax, man. People do too much for me nowadays. That's all I can say. That people just really do too much. You know, just because you have a certain platform don't mean. And I know, I gotta say this with grace. I know you gotta make sure you have the right circle, like close to you. But you can still be. You can have a shield, and you can still let people reach in and touch a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But folks just be doing the most for me. You know, they just really.
They need to look into themselves.
Oh yeah.
Listen, we want right now. I want each and every one of you that's watching this to just stop, breathe, and look into yourself.
Exactly.
Look into yourself and say, what can I do? What habit I done?
Yeah.
Ask yourself, what's your favorite color?
Exactly.
How many toes you got? Last time, just how many hairs you got growing out your eyebrow? Shoot, something.
They're gonna be up for a long time.
But listen, you don't have time to really dig into yourself.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Yeah, you're right. I'm
Sasha,
telling you.
thank you for coming on Second Chance.
You're welcome.
Listen, if anyone...
Thank you for having me. Let me say that first.
Listen, we family.
Yes, absolutely.
Anyone that's out there who is, battling, giving their self a chance or battling, just overcoming or going to the next chapter, what word would you like to give them?
I would just say, honestly, if they're battling, going to the next chapter, I'm going to tell them something that's going to be really hard. Is this, why are you battling? Find out your why. Because everybody don't understand the importance of that one word, why. Why are you battling? Why are you not doing? Why? What's the why? It's simple. Why?
Why? You guys, you're having Sasha, Mercedes. Let everyone know how they can stay connected with you and just keep riding that roller coaster with you.
I'm Sasha Mercedes with either 2 S's or 3 S's, depending on what platform, on every platform. So,
hey, you guys, Sasha, make sure you tap in with her, you guys. Johneri'O Scott. This has been a Second Chance with Johneri'O Scott. You guys, thank you very much for tuning in. Peace. Stressing the day. I ain't stressing the day.